So as we all know, R. Kelly was found guilty on all counts.
Mm-hmm.
On all counts for his I can go on and on. I covered this a bit last week. Well, reported, not even reportedly, Bill Cosby believes that R. Kelly has been railroaded.
Mm.
This is what Bill Cosby believes. And this is according to his spokesperson, Aunt Andrew Wyatt. He
Mm.
says R. Kelly has been railroaded, and it's also a war on black men.
Mm. Mm.
Listen to this.
We talked about it today, and the first thing he said, he was like, look, the guy was railroaded. As he said that Gloria Allred did the same thing that she did with him. You parade women out, and you stir up the public sentiment to go against him. And that's what they did to R. Kelly. My client was conviction was vacated by the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court because they saw the truth. And what we see in America today, with R. Kelly is an assault on black men. And this is an assault on successful black men who are doing great things. So when we see like those R. Kelly fans that are sticking by us, hoping that, maybe they look at R. Kelly, or they look at Cosby's case and say, maybe R. Kelly can get off. Maybe there'll be something. Well, look, do you see that happening? I see R. Kelly having a strong case on appeal. And I think when he gets to the appellate court and we get to the highest court in the land, I think we'll see a conviction overturned.
I'll let you take this first. Go ahead, Reese. Your thoughts.
Okay, so was R. Kelly trying to buy NBC as well? Listen, here's the thing. The last thing you want somebody, the last person you want defending you, if you done got convicted of all this shit involving raping people and terrorizing people for decades, is another rapist. Now, to be clear, Bill Cosby was not exonerated. He got off on a technicality because there was there was an agreement that, if he testified in this, that he would, that was going to be that on that. And so that was why he got off. Don't ever mistake appeals for exonerations, because 99% of the time, it's not about being exonerated. It was about a violation in the process. Appeals are not relitigating the case. If that's the case, they're going to send you back down to the court for have your case retried. So there's just that, just on a technical matter. It's not a conspiracy against black men to put rapists in jail. And if black men don't own that, don't own this rapist mentality, this predator mentality, this terrorism against people that you're preying on. Don't own that as a black man thing. These people are not representatives of the black men in this country. That's disgusting. That's abhorrent. I wouldn't claim that. I don't claim Candace Owens. I don't claim every black, and that's she. I'm not saying she on the level of R. Kelly, whatever else.
Right.
But you don't have to own every black person that's doing shit that
not
they
all my
ain't got
skin folk or kinfolk.
Yeah. And the victims of R. Kelly were black women. They don't count. What about them? What about the conspiracy against them? What about the way they were targeted and violated repeatedly for decades? So Bill Cosby, shut the fuck up. Be happy that your ass is out of jail. Be happy if you don't go to jail for some other shit that they find on you. And just go sit there and eat your goddamn jello and pudding. And R. Kelly buried his ass under the jail. Period. He got away with it. He had to me, I feel like, well, you had a long run.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've been doing this shit for decades and you've been getting away with it. And you kept escalating in your behavior. You got more emboldened in your behavior. Most people with any kind of system like, oh, okay, now's the time to lay low a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If you rob a bank, you lay low. You don't go out and buy a Lamborghini and then rob the next bank in your Lamborghini. You go sit your ass down somewhere. And he had his Chuck D said, is he going to get a second chance? And what's it going to take from him? He had his second chance.
He's had like 3 chances.
He did multiple chances. He's out of chances. 3 strikes, you're out. Okay. So Boosie, Bill Cosby, all you fucking degenerates out there who feel like Bill R. Kelly is one of y'all, that's a mark against y'all. That's a shame on y'all. That's not a shame on society. That's not anybody's doing something to go after black men. Y'all should be going after these men harder than anybody else and say that this ain't us, this ain't what we stand for, this ain't what we about. We're about protecting and honoring Black women, children, and we're not going to stand for this kind of behavior in our community. That's what y'all should be doing instead of condoning it and turning it into a damn conspiracy, which it's not.
Yeah, when I think about chances, I mean, listen, I can recall there was the Marriage to Aaliyah that was published in 1996 in Vibe magazine. It was an actual marriage certificate. Nothing happened. True. I mean, it's you see that, you see it right there. Nothing happened. That's a chance that clearly he got away with. There was another trial, and there was a video of him urinating on a child. Urinating on a child. That's a chance right there. He's acquitted of that. And now this time, he finally doesn't get away with it. And this spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt, railroaded. It's one of these weird things. Mind you, I doubt that Bill Cosby was ever an R. Kelly fan. I'm sure Bill Cosby, he was so about his respectability politics. I'm sure he was disgusted about, like, quote unquote. I'm sure he was disgusted by R. Kelly. And he was telling Martin, you shouldn't cuss. Eddie Murphy, you shouldn't cuss. You shouldn't do this, do that. It's funny. And I get so outraged when I hear people try to align themselves with Black men who are actually railroaded. Every single Wednesday, I do a series called Exonerated. These are Black men who were railroaded, who had their freedom taken away from them, who were just average, everyday working guys on the job. I never forget, I had one guy who got arrested on the job because he was wearing the same brand of overalls of a white woman who said raped him. He never even met the woman. I mean, that's railroaded.
Right.
Not when you would admit in a deposition to giving women quaaludes for sex.
Yeah.
That's not being railroaded. Not when you have a videotape that you're urinating on a child. And then he said, stir up public sentiment. That's been out there for R. Kelly for years.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew about it with we all heard more detail with us surviving R. Kelly, but we all knew that for years.
And even the surviving R. Kelly, those women faced a lot of backlash behind that. That wasn't like something that came out and everybody was like, yeah, good on y'all for doing that. They got a lot of backlash, even doing that part.
Exactly. I just think, wow, I mean, this is his spokesperson. This is his spokesperson. And I was saying this last week.
Be a scumbag to be in that room. It tracks.
Exactly.
It tracks.
And I was saying this last week, Reese, that I can recall at the barbershop, that R. Kelly tape was circulating around barbershops all over the country. I remember that.
Yeah.
There are so many Black men that we can support. We can support President Barack Obama when he's being wrongfully attacked. We can support Senator Cory Booker, one of the few Black men in the U.S. Senate. We can support Reverend Raphael Warnock. We can support Black men who are running for Senate, the folks that we just mentioned before, like Malcolm Kenyatta. There are so many. You could throw your support behind Will Smith, who does great work. You could throw your support behind Samuel L. Jackson. There's some great singers out there that could use a little bit of your support because maybe they didn't have the power and access that R. Kelly had. Who's my Anthony Hamilton? I used to love that brother. Support him. Go ahead.
Yeah. Or, the missing Black men, earlier this week when I was hosting your show, the brother of Jelani Day, DeAndre Day, called in and talked about the way that Black men who are missing don't get attention. Daniel Robinson is still missing out of Arizona. And so if you're a Black man, why not lend your platform to resolving some of those issues and lending your voice to giving them a voice instead of being rapists are us support group and trying to act like there's a conspiracy to tear down people who are being held accountable for rape. And that was one of the things that even Vice President Kamala Harris was attacked over, because of her prosecutorial background. It's like, oh, you locking up Black men. Yeah, if you raping people, if you killing people, yeah, your ass belong in jail. but she wasn't locking up Black men because they smoked weed, like they like to say. So there's always this whole notion, and sometimes it's legitimate because you said like yourself, you do an exonerated series, and there are Black men. There's so many documented and just indisputable instances of injustice and systemic racism and Black men and Black women being mistreated. R. Kelly is not one of them. Bill Cosby is not one of them. And don't own it. Don't own it because it's not something that you want to own.
And what's interesting, I think one of the statements that R. Kelly's team put out a while back is that he was being lynched. And I think, I don't have the exact statement. I hate when they say that. But what's interesting, especially with R. Kelly, this is not somebody who I saw throwing himself behind causes in our community. No. This is not somebody who I can recall, speaking out. This is not some political figure in any capacity. He was a R&B superstar. That's essentially, I mean, he was living in freaking Trump Tower. I mean, this is not somebody who had, and I'm not saying every artist has to be that. That may not be their lane, but for them to, it's kind of how you were calling out Nicki Minaj. It's totally different. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but how you suddenly call on your Blackness, you suddenly call on it when it's convenient. Where were you before? Mm-hmm. What were you doing before? What kind of work were you doing in our community? Go ahead.
But like, why would they arbitrarily pick R. Kelly? You know how hard it was to pry Black folks away from Step in the Name of Love? Like, that shit was hard. Giving up Bumper Grind at 12, like, we had to give that up. There's no, you think that the fans are sitting around saying, you know what? That Step in the Name of Love is causing a whole lot of problems. We got to put an end to that. Let's go railroad R. Kelly. Like, what the fuck? I mean, he's not even known for doing anything but make grinding music and some stepping music. He's not like some major, like, he's not Fred Hampton. Huey Newton, like, he's not a revolutionary. He was just, we was all jamming to R. Kelly's music. Some later than others. Some of us took longer to get off the R. Kelly, like mute R. Kelly or get on that thing. But there's nothing in his position that would have the powers that be come and say, we gotta stop that Step in the Name of Love. I don't think so. Like, knock it the fuck off.
And to be honest with you, it's the same thing with Bill Cosby. Although he gave a lot of money to charities, Bill Cosby was consistently critiquing Black people. What did he say? Don't name your kids names like Muhammad in that famous pound cake speech. Bill Cosby was reprimanding Black folks, right? He was saying the things that a lot of conservative white folks want to hear, right? Bill Cosby was not, like you said, some kind of revolutionary. There was no threat to really take him down. Even the Cosby Show itself, if you remember, the show barely ever mentioned race. Yeah. I can recall the critiques of the time was that you got a Black family in 1980s Brooklyn and y'all rarely ever mention race. Right. These aren't people who have any kind of threat to the establishment, who are going to have some conspiracy behind them to tear them down. They did some trifling stuff and it eventually, decades later, caught up with them.
That's it.